Grace Jones, UK 112, a nightly whiskey and village dances kept her young. Grace Jones, affectionately known as Amazing Grace, lived to be 112 years old, making her one of the oldest people in the United Kingdom. What makes her story so compelling is not just the number of years she lived, but how she lived them, with joy, with rhythm, and yes, with a glass of whiskey. Every night before bed, Grace poured herself a small glass of Johnny Walker whiskey. It was her ritual, her treat, her way of ending the day on a happy note. She paired this little indulgence with another passion that kept her vibrant, dancing in her village halls. Together, these two habits tell us something powerful about longevity. That life is not about strict rules and deprivation, but about balance, joy, and connection. Her early life. Grace was born in 1899 in Liverpool, England, the very same year the paperclip was invented and the first magnetic tape was recorded. She grew up in an era of horse-drawn carriages and gas lamps, lived through 2 world wars, and witnessed more than a century of incredible change. Yet through all the turbulence of history, Grace carried a spirit of resilience. She married, raised a family, and became deeply woven into the fabric of her community. What kept her spirit young was not grand achievements or wealth, but the small joys she cultivated daily, the whiskey ritual. For Grace, whiskey wasn't about excess. It was about ritual. Each evening, she enjoyed a single glass of Johnny Walker, savoring it slowly. Modern science actually supports this. Studies show that moderate alcohol consumption, especially when paired with social lifestyle, can be linked to longevity. Red wine in Mediterranean countries, sake in Japan, and yes, whiskey in Grace's England have all been part of centenarian stories. Of course, the key is moderation. Too much alcohol is harmful, but Grace's one nightly glass became part of her rhythm, something that relaxed her, made her smile, and reminded her that life should be enjoyed, the dance floor of life. But whiskey wasn't her only secret. Grace loved to dance. She attended village dances regularly, well into her later years. The music, the movement, the laughter, all of it kept her body strong and her heart full. Dancing is one of the best exercises for the brain and body. It improves balance, coordination, cardiovascular health, and memory. More importantly, dancing connected her with people. She wasn't just exercising. She was celebrating life with her community. That sense of belonging is something researchers consistently find in the world's longest-lived populations. For Grace, dance wasn't just a hobby. It was medicine for the soul, the psychology of joy. Grace Jones' story shines a spotlight on an overlooked longevity factor, joy. She found happiness in simple things: a glass of whiskey, a dance with neighbors, a laugh with friends. She didn't chase stress. She didn't obsess over perfection. Instead, she created little rituals of joy that gave her days rhythm and meaning. Psychologists call this emotional resilience. People who cultivate joy, gratitude, and social connection tend to handle stress better, recover from illness faster, and live longer. Grace embodied this resilience every day. Her personality and philosophy. When asked about her long life, Grace often joked that whiskey was her secret. But if you look closer, you could see that her real secret was a combination of habits and mindset. Moderation. One glass, not a bottle. Movement. Dancing kept her physically and mentally agile. Connection. She was deeply rooted in her community. Optimism. She carried herself with humor and lightness. Her approach to life wasn't about chasing youth. It was about celebrating age with dignity and delight. What science says. Medical researchers today emphasize many of the habits Grace naturally practiced. Moderate indulgence can reduce stress and promote relaxation. Physical activity like dancing supports heart, brain, and joint health. Strong social ties lower the risk of dementia, depression, and heart disease. Positive routines keep stress hormones balanced and immune systems strong. Grace didn't study these theories. She lived them, and they carried her well past a century. Lessons from Grace Jones's life. Grace's story offers timeless wisdom. Make room for joy. Whether it's a nightly ritual, a favorite treat, or a hobby, little pleasures sustain us. Keep moving. Exercise doesn't have to mean gyms or treadmills. Dancing works wonders. Stay social. Friends, neighbors, and laughter add years to life and life to years. Live with balance. Moderation beats extremes every time. Celebrate aging. Don't fear birthdays, dance through them. Why her story inspires us. Grace Jones shows us that longevity is not just about the length of life, but the quality of it. At 112, she was still laughing, still dancing, still raising glass at the end of the day. She reminds us that health isn't only about what you subtract, the foods you avoid, the habits you cut out. It's also about what you add: connection, rhythm, joy, and ritual. The big takeaway. Grace's life teaches us that the formula for longevity may be simpler than we think. Move your body in ways that bring joy. Connect with others and celebrate life together. Allow yourself small indulgences. Enjoy it in moderation. Carry your years with gratitude, humor, and a little sparkle. At 112, she proved that a long life isn't about restriction. It's about harmony. Outro. Grace Jones will always be remembered as a woman who danced through life, raised a nightly glass of Johnny Walker, and showed us that true longevity is found in joy, connection, and rhythm. If her story inspired you, share it with someone you love. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories of the world's longest lived people. Because in the end, life isn't just about adding years. It's about making those years dance.